This is the weekly New England sports recap, also known as the weekly NEcap.
Brought to you by EOTB Sports, baby.
Woo! Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gon' make me go all out. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gon' make...
Let's talk some NFL. Brendan, Matt, let's do the status of the Patriots last week's game, and what are your takes from that?
All in all, it was honestly a pretty boring game to watch, I thought. I was expecting kind of more of a shootout. And I think the final score is, 21-13? With, you know, at first I was pretty rattled when Gordon broke that 87-yard touchdown off. It was cool for me for fantasy implications. That helped out a lot this week. I appreciated that. Good looks, Melvin. But, yeah, it's pretty scary considering the Patriots defense has not looked good.
Yeah. Aside from that, it was really a gross game. The Patriots only had one touchdown. Gostkowski hit 4 field goals and missed 2 because he's a really bad kicker, I guess, now.
Yeah, is he good?
No.
Should he still be a kicker?
He's bad now.
Would I rather see John kicking on some days? Probably.
I can boot the ball. Don't sell me short.
He's got the torque going behind his big ass leg.
I have a very
his robotic legs.
The another thing I highlighted was the O-line was riding the struggle bus pretty hard. Brady got sacked 3 times, and the running backs got a lot of opportunities and averaged 3 yards per carry, which isn't not gonna get the job done, so to speak. So
yeah, I think Deion Lewis had 14 or 15 carries for 44 yards. You got to do way better than that.
And he was the best. That was our best running back.
Luckily, Tom looks like he's getting back to vintage Tom, just getting the ball out in under a second again, under a half second it seemed like. He ended the day 32 for 47 for 333 yards. So Patriots are still relying on him pretty heavily.
Yeah, I think they're going to do that until his shoulder literally falls off of his body.
Yeah. Yeah, or unless they get some actual defensive talent, and then maybe they can balance the team out a little bit, but I think that's nowhere near happening.
So I only watched the game a little bit, but I saw it looked like they were kind of involving Rex Burkhead a little more, just because they involved him at all. What do you guys, is that you like that or what?
He was actually their number 1 receiver in terms of receptions. He had 6 receptions for 68 yards, which is pretty good. He was hurt for a while, so he didn't get a lot of looks, but that dude does everything. He's got pretty sick hands.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player.
I literally just told my mom to drop him off her fantasy team, so I feel pretty bad about that.
I dropped him 3 weeks.
She comes to me for advice, what should I do? Should I keep Danny Woodhead? Should I keep Rex Burkhead? A lot of white running backs, which I advised against, but she didn't really listen. And old Jan loves little whiteys. But
yeah, is Jan low key racist? Does she race?
I think she's low key trying to imagine me as an athlete.
Yeah, as an NFL running back,
as a respectable human, not someone who gambles all the time. So Burkhead, Woodhead. But yeah, so he looks competent now. Now that he's healthy, he looks like he's going to be a threat.
Yeah, that's how the Patriots usually roll. They struggle to start, and then players find their. Then they start clicking and dominating teams by the second half of the year. Hopefully, that's what happens. A lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. So Hightower's out for the year. Stephon Gilmore's pretty banged up, and Malcolm Brown, the D tackle, he missed the game. So it's really we'll see. We just got to get healthy and see how the defense can.
With that being said, though, with all those injuries and as boring as the game was, I guess it wasn't entirely a bad thing for the Patriots because they did only give up 13 points. So their defense is pretty significantly better. They're significantly better than they were to start the season. So
and 6 of those were on an 87-yard run. So you take that out, all of a sudden they shut them down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else with that? Any takes? Anything upcoming schedule? Or they're tied for first right now, right?
With the Cowboys.
You want me to go next?
Yeah. What do you got? What do you got on the Cowboys?
Well, I mean, obviously the news of the week and the season and everything is probably the Zeke thing that's kind of coming down, and I don't know. I feel like that's just unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? If he did it, then he's fucking fucked up. But
Free Zeke.
Free Zeke.
yeah. But, I don't know.
Sometimes NFL players get suspended for stuff they don't do.
I definitely agree. I definitely think like part of how Goodell is at this point. I know like all the Pats fans. I'm sure you guys are all saying the same shit about Deflategate and that whole thing was just blown out of proportion. But I don't know. To some extent, I feel like that's kind of how this has been. But it's just the fact that it just keeps going and going. And at this point, I feel like it's not even like, I don't know, it's not a domestic violence issue anymore. Like, you know what I mean? So it's more, does Goodell have the power to be an asshole or not?
He sure does.
And apparently he does.
He does.
Coming from a Giants fan,
how are they gonna do over the next 6 weeks though?
Well, I was gonna get to that. It's gonna be. I mean, the good news is that 4 of their next 6 are home, which is huge. 2 are in division. 3 are in division. They got Philly, the Redskins again, and then the G-Men again after that. I know the G-Men game is, I want to say like the 10th, maybe December 10th, I think it is.
You don't have to worry about that one.
No, that's what I'm hoping. But then at the same time, you got Kansas City at home next week, and then I think they host Atlanta. I'm pretty sure, and then they go to Philly. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, like I said, 4 of the next 6 at home is nice. It's kind of a shitty time for that to happen. I mean, you talk about like the first 6 weeks, and part of the time that they were so fearful of the Giants, like the Giants turned out to be shit. But
easy.
I don't know.
Easy.
Now at 4-3, you'd almost wish the suspension was just over and you could get back and kind of go into the meat of the season at this point. It just kind of sucks because they've had pretty crappy luck all year, and I hope I'm not just being a biased fan when I say that, but they played Denver when Denver looked incredible. I think it was like the second week of the year, and now Denver looks like trash. Who'd they get? Yeah. They smoked. I mean, what's his name? Simeon looks terrible.
Oh yeah, well, he's out.
Brock got the start.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah.
I mean,
party like a Brock star.
That in itself is kind of telling you something when you have to go from a starting quarterback back to Brock. So I mean, that part, they played Denver when Denver looked great. They played Green Bay when Green Bay was still with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and that's just, I won't forget about that game, I'm sure, for the rest of the year, just because I think the Cowboys blew that on a pass play on second down. But whatever, I'm sure I've gotten over that.
Yeah, clearly.
And then they kind of blew it to the Rams, and that was just, I don't know, that was a big one. Now, like when you're looking back at 4-3 to lose to the Rams and have the Rams pretty much, the Rams looked pretty good that game, but the Rams are not good, I would say.
I don't think they are either, but they're 5-2. Like
they're putting wins together, so you almost can't hate it. It's just, I don't know. I can't believe that's a 5-2. Like that's a 5-2 team.
Yeah.
Then again, you look at the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are 4-3, and the Dolphins look like one of the worst 5 teams.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, just cleaned house.
Yeah. But
you guys want to talk about that? You want to do a little trade deadline stuff?
Yeah. If you want.
Yeah.
Actually, Sean, do you have anything else on the Cowboys? Anything else you want to say?
I mean, pretty much I was just going to kind of about like the Zeke thing, because I know one of you guys just said, how are they going to be the next 6 weeks without him? They have a tough schedule, but they still have 2, maybe 3 very capable running backs. They have Darren McFadden, who hasn't suited up this year because I think Dallas, kind of the coaching staff and everyone around, just knew that this was probably inevitable that Zeke was going to be out. So Darren McFadden comes in and fresh legs, like I said. I mean, let's not forget, I think it was 2 years ago, he ran for over 1,000 yards. I mean, he's not trash. He's older, but he's not like trash. I mean, even last year, I guess it's kind of overlooked last season how he ran for like 3.5 yards a carry, I think. But again, that was in like very limited time. I think I wrote down, it was like 24 rushes that he had last year. So, I mean, You're talking 24 snaps last year and two months off to start this year. I don't know. I feel comfortable with having black on chrome Darren McFadden back there. Never mind. You got Alfred Morris, who's not even 30 years old. And what was it, 2014, he ran for also over 1,000 yards, averaged like almost 4.5 yards a rush. And this year he's running just over 8 yards a rush, averaging just over 8 yards a rush.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, 13 carries, so obviously a very limited sample size, but you can't really overlook that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's done something with it.
No, I know. And then I don't know. They got Rod Smith too, who's I'm pretty sure he's actually related to Jalen Smith, who was the steal of the draft last year. And
that's cute. It's like one big family.
Yeah, it is. It's a family affair over there. Got all the brothers.
Oh, easy. Brothers. Literal brothers.
Got the brothers and the brother. So.
Yeah, all right. They'll probably be the Giants by like 60. And Giants were on a bye week, so you're not going to hear anything from me. It's going to stay pretty positive.
Giants have been on a bye week for like 7 weeks.
They can't lose.
They're undefeated for a week now, so watch out.
Bye weeks are underrated for your team. Bye weeks are underrated the best weekend of the football season. There's no stress that goes into it. The worst game is probably if you lose on a Thursday, because then that is just such a stretch after that. And then also if you stay up for the Sunday night game and they lose that and you don't go to bed till 12:30 and then your team loses on for that is the ultimate killer.
Welcome to my fucking life with the Giants. They had like 4 of their first 5 games were nationally televised, and I was like, all right, like this is the game they turn it around. I'm staying up. It would hit like midnight, and I would just go cry myself to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, I get pissed off. I'm ready to punch walls in my parents' house.
I can't understand. No, it's not the week. I'll have plenty of time to talk about the Giants. So let's hit a few trades.
We'll do the whole thing on the Giants, and you can just rant.
Give me like 3.5 hours, and I'll just spew hatred to the Giants. But all right, so trade deadline, the 3 biggest moves: Jimmy G to the 49ers for a second rounder, Jay Ajayi to Eagles for third rounder. 4th round.
It was like fourth
rounder.
That was such a shitty
Doesn't
trade.
make sense.
And then Kelvin Benjamin for a couple picks. So Jimmy G, what's your take on that? Brendan, Matt, I know you're the Patriots guys. What do you think about that trade?
I'm happy for Jimmy just for the fact that I would like to see the kid play and get a chance. And then plus also it shows that the Patriots are willing to stick by Tom Brady for at least 3 more years with Brian Hoyer being the backup. So we got 3 more years of Tom. Hopefully he can keep doing what he's doing, slinging that ball around.
Yeah, that's what I took away is I think they tried to negotiate an extension with him, and he wanted starter money because he wants to go start somewhere. So they were like, we're not going to do that because Tom Brady's going to play a few more years. So I'm just happy they got something for him, and they ended up getting Hoyer, like Matt said, to back him up, and that's pretty reliable. So I'm happy with it.
It's nice they got a grizzled veteran that's already been in the system, so he should hop right in and be able to rock that hat backwards and hold a clipboard for a few years. So easy money, baby.
Speaking of hat backwards, I absolutely need to get a backwards hat for next week.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like a real asshole for not getting one.
Or the backwards hat show.
Yeah, I'd like to wear my hat frontwards, but I wasn't sure legally wise if I could just have a giant Nike sign on my forehead. So
no free ads.
No free ads.
That's our calling card.
With some duct tape over it.
Yeah,
I thought about it, but
I remember they used to do that on the show The Real World, and I was always so caught what the hell are they doing? People were wearing Dodgers hats with black tape over the LA. Dude,
and they duct tape all the beer cans.
You're a loser.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd like to get back to Calvin Benjamin, though. I think that's a pretty big trade for Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
They were already threatening for the top seed. They're basically tied essentially in the loss column with the Patriots, and I think that giant target makes them that much more better. He's a great guy to have. I'd say.
Worrying.
Yeah, I'd say.
That's fair.
Yeah, with Tyrod Taylor throwing him too. Tyrod Taylor is an underrated quarterback. He makes a lot of plays, and I think they've reined him in a little bit this year. So his mistakes are down. He's just kind of managing the game and making sure they don't lose, and it's working out really well. I think if you give him another playmaker, if he can keep those mistakes down, and then find Kelvin Benjamin, I think they're actually gonna be a real threat.
I think the whole Bills team is overrated at this point. Underrated to be honest. Their defense is so good, and every
so nasty.
Every week people are just like, "Are they the real deal? Are they the real deal?"
Which is crazy because
at this point of the season, they're pretty freaking good.
I say.
It's wild because they cleaned house during training camp and traded away their top 3 names and got way better for it.
Yeah.
And they fired their GM the day after the draft, which is a preposterous move. Dude just drafted a bunch of players and they're like, you know what? We're done.
Get out of here. Bad draft. Goodbye.
Bad draft. You're out.
Breaking news, this just in. Robbie still wants to trade me AB for Chris Hogan and draft picks. Chris Hogan's shoulder isn't even alive anymore.
I'll overturn that. That's collusion.
Dude, I was just I told him when I offered him that Chris Hogan trade and my 4th-round draft pick, or my 1st-round draft pick for AB and his 1st-round draft pick, I was like, dude, I'm going to get spit on. He messaged me almost immediately. It was like, we'll talk Tuesday, but I like it. 2 seconds later, Hogan gets his arm ripped off his body. And I was like, oh, great. And then this dude's like, hey, AB's on a bye this week. I was like, yeah, so is Chris Hogan. He's like, send the trade. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lack of research.
Yeah. So
AB, you're talking Antonio Brown?
Yeah.
Avery
I'm about to have
Bradley,
Melvin Gordon and Antonio Brown, so that's huge.
Oh, shit,
Although it sucks I'm tossing away my 1st-round pick next year because anything's possible. And I could not even make the playoffs and just not have a 1st-round pick. I'm 4-4 right now. I'm making the push. Anyways,
You're
that's
pulling
my bad.
An opposite move of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Just trading away their one talented offense. No, actually, they have Jarvis Landry. But,
Yeah, they almost traded him, too.
Yeah, I heard he's on the block.
Yeah, go get him.
I have both Jay Ajayi and Jarvis Landry, and I got Jarvis Landry a complete steal. I probably got him the 8th round, and I'm like, wow, this is going to completely turn my fantasy team around. He has not done squat.
Yeah,
squat. I'm so pissed.
Jay Ajayi hasn't done much
time. I wasted an hour of my time writing a bold predictions blog on that, and for nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's tough. I thought he would be better than he was, but hey, you get smoking Jay Cuddy slinging the ball around. It's not easy to get yards.
Yeah, ripping darts.
Ripping dats.
Do we think he's going to be good on the Eagles? Ajayi, I'm talking about.
I do.
I mean,
think so.
It's a better offensive line and an actual
it doesn't
quarterback.
hurt.
So.
And he has a quarterback, exactly.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't be better. I mean, the Eagles' offensive line is probably top 5 in the league. Jason Peters is a real, legitimate left tackle, and I mean, they were getting LeGarrette Blount yards, they were getting Smallwood yards. Not to take anything away from them because they're solid running backs, but Ajayi. Yeah, there you go. We'll edit that out.
The soft J.
Ajayi.
Yeah.
But no, he was an absolute stud last year. He had games where he had 215 yards rushing. I think he's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the Eagles.
Yeah, they're
Eagles,
nasty.
I'm wicked worried about the Eagles because I think at this point, especially with this whole Zeke thing, and this is just a complete Cowboys perspective, so I don't want to divert it too much, but to be 4-3 right now without Zeke for next 6 weeks, there's no shot. I don't think the Cowboys are going to win the division. I'm going to be pretty honest. I don't know if I see it. 6 weeks without.
Yeah, 2 games back with Zeke out.
You still got to get to probably 10, 11 wins to get a wild card. 10-6, 11-5, right about. I would say.
Yeah.
I would say that gets you a wild card, but
I'd say one exciting / nerve-wracking thing for Cowboys fans right now is probably you're going to get the shot to see probably exactly how good Prescott is.
Yeah,
is he the real deal without Zeke or?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. They're going to go as far as he can take him at this point. You're right.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good call. It's a good silver lining.
And that's
something to tune
That's
into.
another thing that would worry me about the Eagles if I was in the NFC East is Carson Wentz looks legit as hell.
Yeah. He does.
That dude, I'm a big fan of that guy.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
I mean, I hate him, but he's still good.
He's North Dakota strong.
I mean, Dak is still the best quarterback in the division.
I don't know. Eli's looks pretty solid this year.
AJ McCarron's pretty good.
Interceptions.
Back to that Ajayi though. Ajayi.
Yeah.
Ajayi thing. So I was looking up, and I know that we were kind of just talking about it, but He went for 1,300 yards last year. He was fourth. Again, I remember this because I included it in my bold predictions. I think it was October 8th, so go check it out.
Hey, Sean, where can they find those bold predictions?
The End of the Bench Sports is a .com.
No, you got it wrong right away.
All right, we'll have the link up.
It's eotbsports.weebly.com.
That's what John said.
Everybody should
But anyway,
check it out.
I remember because he was fourth in rushing last year behind Zeke, behind Jordan Hayward of Chicago, and behind DeMarco Murray of Tennessee. He was fourth behind them.
Yeah.
He averaged 5 yards a carry last year, and he just completely fell off this year. And he fell off. I shouldn't say he fell off. The running game fell off for him.
Yeah.
So I think Philly is legit now. They gotta be the threat of the NFC. I think.
I would say
yes. People are saying they're the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, they might. I mean, it's hard to argue with what
you could make a case for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
They still don't. They still don't have a left tackle, and they still don't have a secondary. So that's good.
Eagles.
But, yeah.
I thought Jason Peters was left tackle. Is he hurt?
Yeah, he got hurt.
Shit.
He tore his knee apart.
Sorry, that's fine. We'll work around it. He is a good left tackle. I didn't say he was playing. I just said he's a good left tackle.
No, you said he was a good left tackle. You could pretend it was for the future.
Yeah, for sure. Jason Peters. You know who else is a good left tackle? Joe Thomas. So.
Bingo.
Yeah, there you go.
Bingo, bango.
He's on a good team too.
You guys want to do some NBA talk?
Yeah.
Go.
All right, Brendan, lead us off. No, all right. So.
I actually do. I've got a question.
Do you?
Saw a report today that the Celtics are interested in that Okafor dude on the 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that too.
If you could get him for
dirt,
for nothing,
yeah,
you don't want him.
No.
John's not interested.
No,
I
John is.
I would take. I mean, let's see what you can get him for. But if you can throw away one of your 1,000 second-round picks that you have in the next 8 years or whatever, hell yeah, do it.
Yeah. All right.
Is that the kid that went to Duke?
Realistically, yeah.
Doesn't know how to play defense?
Doesn't know how to play at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a. I wouldn't say he's good, but he has definite promise coming out. Dude.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know if they really can get him for super cheap, second-round picks, and I don't know, someone that they probably drafted way too high who's playing in Germany right now. Go for it. He showed promise. He definitely has talent offensively. And Brad Stevens, Stevens is getting Kyrie and Tatum to both play really solid defense right now.
Oh, yeah.
And neither of them were supposed to be good on D at all. So, anything can happen with Stevens. I really have a lot of faith in him. So it depends what the price is.
And I mean, too. Sorry.
No, sorry. No, so I was just gonna say one good thing about the NBA is kids get drafted so early that the prime of their career could be in their 6th, 7th, 8th year.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, they get drafted when they're 19, 20. They might not develop for the next 3 years. So hopefully that's what Okafor is. But yeah, as far as the Celtics are, their status right now, they've won 5 in a row, which is great. What are you laughing at? What the fuck happened?
I accidentally cut off Sean, and then you just also accidentally cut off Sean so bad.
I'm sorry. All right, Sean, you
it's
say
a little
laggy
on my end, so I keep cutting people off too.
No, I know. Yeah, same. It's wicked chop. I should cut him off again. All right, Sean, just go for it.
I just said it's all good. The only thing I was gonna say, and I just made a reference to it too, is what the Celtics. I'm pretty sure they have 6, 7, or 8 first-round draft picks in their 4 years. Realistically, what are you gonna do? Draft those guys and send them to the D League? Never mind how many people you have that in second-round picks. I'm completely fine with them kind of splurging a little. I don't want to, don't give up too much for a guy that doesn't even look that good and you can get for dirt cheap. Much in the Cleveland, but if you can get pieces for the right price, I know they get a little bit of money back now with Hayward. So if you can get pieces for the right price, I would do it.
Yeah, it's true. They got $8.5 million to work with because Hayward's leg is off.
Yeah. So is the cast though.
Hey.
Cast off.
Cast off.
Wow.
Cast off.
Cast off. Boot on.
Yeah. All right, Sean, are you good? I won't cut you off again.
Yeah, I'm good. Astros are up 3-0.
You got money on them?
No,
Okay, just a little status update.
just said that.
So yeah, I was just gonna give a quick update on them. They're 5-2 right now. They're tied for first in the East with the Magic, which is
laugh
just
out loud.
weird. I have no idea why the Magic are tied for first, but yeah, they won 5 in a row. They just beat Milwaukee on the road. They beat Miami on the road, and they just beat the Spurs at home. So like, pretty encouraging wins against solid teams.
Yeah.
What else do I have? Kyrie's been really solid. He's been as good as advertised so far. He had a couple rough games at the beginning. He wasn't shooting very efficiently, but like he's moving the ball. Watching him and Horford run the pick and roll is like beautiful. Like they're both on point. Kyrie actually scored exactly 24 points in the last 3 games. So consistency, and the earth is flat too. So.
He hasn't seen a real picture of Earth, so you never know.
The most exciting thing about that, though, I think, is like you just said, he's completely bought in. It's taken him like 7 games, and he's completely bought in.
100%.
Moving the ball. I'm like watching highlights because I'm not always watching the game, but when I'm seeing highlights, he's putting people in a fucking freaking blender, and like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. Like, did you see that one move where he was like getting double teamed and he actually spun moved through them and just like hit a floater? Like it was, I think it was against the Bucks.
Yeah. That was insane.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. So he's really good. This is kind of a hot take. I've liked a lot what I've seen from Aaron Baines. I don't know how much you've watched of the games, but like he's just like a very useful guy, like big white dude. Like he blocks shots, he hits like mid-range jumpers if he's open. He just doesn't do anything wrong. Like he's kind of a really good fit. He's like Amir Johnson, but I'd actually like put him a peg above Amir Johnson right now.
I would for sure. He's just a brick house. He just takes up space. He's exactly what they've needed the last 2 or 3 years. Celtics haven't had that in a pretty good amount of time. Anyone to just sit there, take up the lane, and just body people.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice. I want to see fewer shots from Marcus Smart. I wouldn't mind if. So he's coming off the bench right now, right? I'm pretty sure the last few games.
I haven't even. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
We'll just say yes, and like nobody's gonna check.
So just be confident about it.
He is 100% definitely coming off the bench right now, and I think that he should actually start. I would like to see a starting lineup of Kyrie, Smart, Jaylen Brown, Marcus or Markieff?
Marquise?
I think it's Marcus.
I think it's Marcus.
I think that's what it is, man. Whoever the Morris guy is. Or no, sorry, not even him. Horford and Baines. I want to see a starting 5 of that. So Smart in and Tatum to the bench because their bench needs scoring. I can't watch Marcus Smart just clang threes like for a full game. He's taking like 11 shots a game. It's too much.
Yeah.
He needs to be that defense guy, like an Avery Bradley type next to Kyrie who can just get buckets.
Yeah, but I mean, you talk about Tatum is averaging like 14 points a game right now. I think it's like 14 and 7-ish.
Yeah, he's in that range. It might be like a little bit less, but not by much. Yeah.
He's looked unbelievable.
Yeah, like that's why I want to see him on the bench. I want to see him just tear up other teams' bench units. Like I think he could be really. I think he'd average like 17, 18 off the bench.
Yeah.
And then Smart won't have to shoot as much. That's what I want to see. But then again, Brad Stevens is 3,000 times smarter than me. So let's just watch how it unfolds.
I hate to cut you guys off, but George Springer is really good. Just slammed a 2-run home runs, 5-0. Dude, he's nasty. UConn. Hard hitting New Britain.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's having a ridiculous series.
Real quick input from the basketball guy over here. I got the second half of a game a couple weeks ago, and I got to say, they were like exciting as shit to watch.
Wicked.
Kyrie is nasty. I know nothing. I forget what game. I forget what team they were playing. Might have been the Heat. They played the Heat a little bit.
That was a
few weeks ago.
Saturday, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the second half, and Kyrie he's electric to watch, dude. He's nasty. He had this little move where he jumped off a guy and put his hand on the ground and then got up and just like threw up a floater and it went in, and it was it's good to watch.
It's
cool.
It's so much fun. Like what you've been plugging for the NHL for a while, like young, exciting talent. Like that's kind of what the Celtics are right now. Like they're just wicked fun to watch. They're all playing hard. Like There's a few mistakes in there because like they had so much roster turnover. Like they have like 8-9 new players. But other than that, like the upside of them, their ceiling right now is high. It's probably like
even without
15
Hayward
wins less than the Warriors. So that's
Yeah. No, and you said, Brendan, you just said even without Hayward. I think, like, don't get me wrong, I probably, like, cried when the Hayward thing first happened. His leg was in too, but, I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person that thought this, but Jalen getting time, Tatum getting time, J&J, the J squared, those guys, like, just taking over minutes like this, it is going to be incredible next year when they get Hayward back, and they're all, I mean, never mind, you said Morris, too. That just adds versatility.
Let's take a second.
yeah. We'll put it on pause. Not actually. I mean, we're still recording, so nobody like say any slurs or anything. But
I also just heard a stat from Tommy Heinsohn about Jalen, so I could throw that in there. They're plus 66 when he's in the game.
plus 66.
Oh,
they're minus 8 when he's on the bench.
Who's that?
Jalen Brown.
Dude, I was gonna ask you because I haven't watched any basketball really this year, but I've been doing the DraftKings, and I always draft Brown when I see him, and he just is such a consistent player, just consistently getting me like 30+ points every night.
Yeah,
I mean he's getting the minutes. So the thing with him is he'll get a lot of fast break points, like which will come every game, just because he's a ridiculous athlete. So like if they get a steal, they get a quick rebound. If he gets out in transition, like he's going to finish on you. So like he's guaranteed. Like his floor is like. I was hurtling towards that phrase, and I was like, I don't know what else to say now. Like I'm all in on this. Like I gotta acknowledge it somehow. So.
Probably wouldn't have made me laugh as much if you didn't give that little fucking look after.
I had to do something. I'm also sweating my ass off. This studio lighting is like really not working out for me. Hold on.
You alright, dude?
You crying?
Your glasses alright? You want to wash them off real quick? I was shit talking to him. He didn't even have his headphones in.
I can't. That's because I just block out the haters 24/7.
By the way, quick
blocking
side
out
note,
the haters.
the Celtics are now up 29 points.
I bet that was all in Jalen.
Who are they
Brown.
playing?
Kings.
Nice.
So for what it's worth, I understand that, but still.
Yeah, I was recording the game, so thanks.
Well, you missed a good one.
I've been like trying to watch it over your shoulder, anyways. It's not a big deal. So all right, let's. Oh, sorry.
Any NBA wide storylines? I haven't been following it at all either. So
Yeah,
you guys want to fill me in on
breeze through
anything?
A couple quick ones. I know you wanted to say something about Giannis, right?
Yeah, you started up.
Oh, me? Hold on.
Report.
I don't care.
No. So one thing I saw, which just makes my heart happy, is Bleacher Report tweeted this out last week. Cavs, in like a span of 9 days, they lost to the Magic, the Nets, the Pelicans, and the Knicks, who are all in fact bad teams. They are all shitty, and Cavs lost to them all.
Not good.
So they'll probably end up winning like 48 games and crushing the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. So
Exactly.
that'll be a good time.
6-game series again, probably.
Yeah. LeBron's just going to turn it on, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so what were you going to say about Giannis? I don't have a whole lot to say.
I mean, I was pretty much just going to this somewhat relates to the Celtics as well. So the Celtics, and this is a tweet by Jay King of Mass Live. Give you the attribution.
Shout out.
Shout out, Jay. Through 8 games, the Celtics are the only team to hold Giannis to below 60% shooting, and they did it twice. And that's pretty good. 60%. I hope you guys know those numbers. I'm not much of that guy, but that's about 6 of 10. He's making 6 of 10 shots.
That's also roughly 3 of 5 if he's a low volume guy.
Well, yeah. When you do the math like that, I know you're more of a stats guy than me, John. But when you do, that.
John's a pencil pusher.
It's 12 of 20. I mean, it's all the same to me,
But seriously, through the first 7 games, he leads the league in scoring average, I should say. 33.7 points a game, 5.1 assists, 10.3 rebounds, which I was shocked to hear that's 13th. 10 point, there's 13 guys averaging over 10 points or 10 rebounds a game. I don't know. I was a little caught off guard by that.
I guess early in the year, you have a couple big games of rebounds. I bet he'll finish top 10 in rebounds.
Pretty much what I'm saying is he is, I would say, especially with LeBron losing as much as he is, I would say at this point in time, he's got to be the MVP.
Yeah.
I
would agree with that. I think really the only guy, I think there's 2 guys who can unseat him. I think it's either going to be John Wall or LeBron. If LeBron.
So loud.
God, he's gone. Oh, he's back. I think it's either going to be John Wall or LeBron James. I think those are the only 2 guys who are going to knock him off in the East. If Kyrie happens to average 30, 31, he might be in the talk. But other than that, I think Wall and LeBron, their games are just more well-rounded. So that'll be interesting to watch.
I don't know if Kyrie will average that. I don't know if I can see him getting up that high.
Right. I think that's the only way he would be in the conversation.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem. I think he'll be right around 25.
Yeah. But pretty much.
You guys want to do a little hockey?
Talking college hockey.
Talking hockey.
But pros, not college.
Let's do the Bruins update. How they looked past.
Yeah, Bruins. All right. So I wrote a blog, probably I think it was just last week, at State of the Bruinian, about their aggressive inconsistency.
State of the what?
So Bruinian, like union, but also Bruins.
Okay.
I made my first brew union this weekend.
My first holy brew union.
Yeah, that's what I was going for, like a religious kind of payoff. No, I'm just kidding. But the last few games have been kind of the same, just really inconsistent. They beat the Sharks in a real ugly game. They beat them 2-1. And they lost to the Kings in overtime with 0.9 seconds left, which was, I feel like that was incredibly avoidable.
That was crazy.
And then they lost a couple nights ago to the Blue Jackets in a shootout, which they came from 3-0 down, which is good, but I'd love to see a little bit more consistency. I think pretty much the main talking point is a lot of injuries. Krejci is out with something. I don't know. They haven't even said what he's out with. Spooner tore his groin or something like that. He's for another month or so. And then it just came out today that Backus has to get part of his colon removed because he has diverticulitis, which is a pretty gross injury to have. So Spooner is a big issue. They just called up AHL for today to play tomorrow, which is not a state of affairs. So yeah, it's they're in a tough spot.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
I haven't I've caught some games here and there. I don't think I've actually sat down and watched a full game through yet this season. But a couple things I noticed is I'm still trying to learn half the team's names. So they're moving to the young. With the speed of the game, they're moving more towards young, fast, not flashy, but skilled players. But somehow, with them being so young and flashy and fast, I've seen them lay the freaking boom this year. They're still a very physical team, which I think in the long run is going to help them out. I just think they need a little time to gain some chemistry with each other. So like I said, they are so young. It's almost kind of weird seeing Chara's old giant ass out there and Bergeron. Bergeron, obviously everyone loves him and Marchand, but they're just looking old nowadays, and they're not. They're not that old, I don't believe. Are they even 30 yet, either of them?
Compared to some of the kids coming in, and they look like seasoned vets.
Yeah, they do. But
Bjork has looked awesome. Jake DeBrusk hits everything in sight.
Yeah.
McAvoy, he has 8 points in 10 games.
Yeah,
awesome.
I love that
rookie
dude's
D-man.
chubby face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, all in all, they're showing promise. I'm pretty excited for the season. It should be an okay.
Yeah,
they make the playoffs.
They just need to get. Yeah, they need to get on the same page and get healthy, and I think then they definitely have a shot in the East because they're they're like 2 points back right now of a wild card spot, and they have like a couple games in hand of all those teams in the wild card spot. So as inconsistently as they played, they're still fully in it. So if they can just kind of get on pace to keep playing consistently, it'll be a pretty good year.
You think that inconsistency is just because it's so early in the year and they're so young? Like, do you think that's something that'll kind of resolve towards the end of the year,
definitely.
or do you think it's like
I think so.
chemistry? You think that's what it is?
I think so.
It's the young kids, and also when you're constantly having vets out with injuries like that, you can't get lines to stay the same, so you can't build that like the chemistry with each other. So that's what I'm saying. They just need to kind of find a little bit of chemistry with whoever they're playing with, because we already know Bergie and Marshy, like, they don't even have to look for each other. They can pass. It's just about who's going to play on that right wing, and same with Pasternak, like where are they going to put him? Stuff like that. I think they'll iron them out as they go, and hopefully they get healthy and push deeper into a playoff spot.
Yeah. Nice. You got anything else on the Bruins? Anything around the league, NHL you want to touch on?
Yeah. Let me rip through. I got some around the league updates, just because I know people don't really pay attention to hockey, but you might want to know it in case you want to.
I personally actually am looking forward to this because I haven't been following very much.
Yeah. Some surprises, actually. So teams that have been playing way better and have way better records than we thought were the Kings are 9-2-1 with 19 points after missing the playoffs last year, which is surprising because they looked like on a harsh decline last year, and they've kind of put it all back together. The expansion team, the Knights, are 8-3, which is easily the best start an expansion team has ever had because they're supposed to be pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. They're really good.
And then the another team in the West, the Canucks, they're 6-3-2 for 14 points. A lot of people had them pegged as being one of the worst teams in the league. I think they're just getting help from some young kids that they've been stocking up on with draft picks and stuff. So pretty impressive that they're up there. And then in the East, the Devils are 8-2, which is crazy because they were the worst team last year. So, or they're the third worst, and then won the draft lottery. And then on the bad side, we have the Canadians, which is really good news. They're
for who?
Struggling real hard. The Rangers only have 10 points, which is interesting. They're always up there. And then everyone was high on the Oilers during the playoffs last year. They only have 10 points so far, and I think they're looking to make some trades to shake some stuff up. So, yeah.
McDavid to the Bruins. You heard it here.
For Ryan Spooner, 1-for-1. I think that's a fair trade.
I think I'm actually worried about the value of Ryan Spooner. I think that we might have lost that trade.
Yeah, he's got some upside still. And then in terms of individual scoring, the Lightning are killing it. They're 10-2-1, and Stamkos has 24 points in 13 games, which is a torrid pace. And his line mate, Nikita Kucherov, has 21 points in 13, and he has 13 goals, so he's averaging a goal a game.
Jeez.
Which is, like, super hard to do. And then one more thing. I just wanted to give a shout-out to Brian Boyle. He's on the Devils. He during training camp, he actually got diagnosed with leukemia, and he's making his season debut today. He's playing through it, which is pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
So
that is cool.
A really cool story.
Pretty cool.
That boy Brian.
Good for him.
So yeah, those are some good notes. You are well prepared. I'll try to do something like that next week. But yeah, no, one quick note on that. The Lightning.
I want to talk hockey all.
I feel like I heard a lot about the Lightning last year, like underachieving, like they have so much talent. Stamkos was hurt again last year, right, for most of the year. It's just like, why aren't they good? Why aren't they good? So it kind of makes sense just from an outsider's perspective that they're kind of putting it all together now.
Yeah. They also they traded Jonathan Drouin to the Canadians, and they got this like stud Russian like young defenseman, and this kid's like almost at a point a game as like a rookie, which is like we see with McAvoy. It like changes your whole team if you can get some top 4 minutes from like a young kid stepping in. So
Yeah.
they're definitely them and the Blues are the early favorites right now for the Cup.
How old is Carlo now? 19?
He's probably I think he's 20 or 21.
20?
Man, that's
Either
still
way, you got two pretty promising
Still
young
young to be
D-men.
playing. Yeah.
yeah.
Top 4. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do. So before we get on to the segments, right? Yeah. I have one quick baseball note. Gabe Kapler got hired as the Phillies manager.
How about that?
Way to go, Gabe.
Yeah. What do you guys think of when you think of Gabe Kapler?
Jewish.
Blowing out his Achilles when he rounded second on a home run.
That's what I think about.
That's
also
exactly
how much I hated him as a baseball player.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Jewish thing.
Oh, sorry. No,
Yeah.
what Matt said.
You
remember that?
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it was in Toronto, right? Or Tampa Bay. I think it was a dome.
He hit second base and his whole exploded and he just like slammed onto the ground. And I think then he went to go play.
He had to get carried home or something like that because I think you like legally have to touch all the bases for it to count.
That's like a college softball
It was a
story
wild
that
time.
they feature on SportsCenter. Like Gabe Kapler is the girl who broke her leg going around first base.
But yeah, Alex Cora is signing with the Sox too. His 2 previous Sox. Dave Roberts coaching LA right now in the World Series.
It's actually that's a good point. Red Sox
pretty
guys
interesting.
everywhere's.
Wasn't Gabe Kapler wicked bald?
Yeah, so bald.
Yeah.
Couldn't be much more
It
bald.
was almost like maybe is Holiday who I'm thinking of? I can't remember who I'm thinking of. Was Holiday
Both
bald?
pretty bald.
Yeah.
I think Kapler's
They're both
balder
like
than
they're
Holiday
both
though.
good-looking bald guys though.
My mom always thought Gabe Kapler was handsome, so
I'm looking up pictures of
It's 'cause
the
he's
dude
not
has like
black.
a 10-pack.
she also thinks Will Smith is handsome. So
He's half
If
black.
these
No,
are
I'm
actual
kidding.
if I'm looking up actual pictures of Gabe Kapler right now, he has at least 8 abs.
He's
on one side,
like diesel as hell.
He's just running on the beach without a shirt.
that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, no, maybe his Achilles exploded because he was taking steroids and he couldn't keep up with his calf muscle.
Very possible. But the reason why that was why I said Jewish, because it reminded me of a stat I saw like 5 years ago. The Red Sox, when Kapler and Youkilis, or a couple other guys were on the team, they set a record for most Jewish players on the field at the same time. it was like Kapler, Youkilis, and 2 other guys. Like that's the first thing I think of when I think of Kapler. It's like, oh, he's Jewish.
Euclid was Jewish. Also super bald.
Bunch of bald Jewish fellas just hitting dingers.
Yeah, and now Kevin Euclid is hitting Tom Brady's wife, so or not wife, his sister.
Oh no! Sister.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Well, he's married to his sister.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.